Okay, back at it. I pulled one of my motors out of storage and I've got it placed inside the frame here with the transmission, trying to plan out exactly where I'm going to build my motor mount and my transmission mount. The idea here is to get the frame back aired out and start working my way from the back forward here, get the drive shaft in the tail housing and get the motor bolted up, and then start seeing where my ground clearance issues are going to be, also relative to my pinion angle and how much slip I'm going to have with the yoke, with the suspension travel. So I got my work cut out for me here, but I think this is going to be one of those things I'm going to have to do as I go. So this is what the beginning of day 2 looks like. I've got the motor placed pretty much where it's going to sit in the frame, but just on the floor here. It's about 2 inches off the ground on the oil pan with the chassis laid out. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll most likely try to run a beam here parallel to the frame, where that motor mount can sit on top of, and that way I can get some adjustability on the height if I have to make some changes, either lower or higher. And I placed a beam across the top of the tires here so I can kind of see where the nose is going to be with the height of the motor. So it's tighter than I thought it was going to be, so having that adjustability in the future is going to be nice. So ideally I'd like to have the motor up as high as I can get it, but I also have the canopy track that sits over the top of the motor. So that's where I'm starting, and we'll continue along here. All right, so it's been a few days and I've got the motor and transmission placed inside the frame pretty much where I think it needs to be. I made these tubes and tied them into the frame where the motor mount sits, and I did leave myself some adjustability here and didn't weld this up just yet because I still need to check my clearances on the nose. But the way I have it set now, I aired the chassis out and I've got about 2 inches of ground clearance on the oil pan, and I've got 2 inches of ground clearance on the transmission cross member that I made. But again, I did leave some adjustability on that as well. So if I have to, I can lower or raise this cross member. But ideally, I want it to be as low as possible. That way I can set the floor of this car as low as I can and give myself enough cabin space and headroom inside, because it's going to be pretty tight. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place the rear of the body on, and I'm going to start building the firewall. So before I end episode 5, as I was airing up the chassis to roll it outside and get the body in here, I wanted to show how much ground clearance I gained with the air suspension with just a little bit of lift in the bags. And I think it went up about 6 to 8 inches, and I think there's still a little bit more left.